Welcome back to my channel, everyone. This one is going to be Fruit of Passion number 9. And in the Fruit of Passion number 9, I'm going to continue talking about what I did in 8. After the Fruit of Passion number 8 was published, I started doing some investigating into the history and the ideas of the Islamic religion. And in my final presentation of Fruit of Passion 10 on the Fruit of Passion series, the Fruit of Passion 10 will be the last one I do on that. And I will talk about the Islamic people and their religion. But for now, I'm going to talk about Israel and what Israel should pay attention to about what has happened to Israel as a result of October the 7th. Now, in October the 7th, a situation happened that, to say the least, a bit appalled about. And I think that Israel has an opportunity to take advantage of that. It is my opinion that when Hamas did what they did on October the 7th, political statement on their thinking. And as being a mechanical person that I am, I realized that in the nature of the world, I had heard in my years of education in high school that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And I considered for a while, I wonder if there is a political equivalent to that theory. And I was a little bit surprised to find there was. And what the political equivalent to that theory is what I feel that Hamas told Israel on October the 7th. And that statement is that they gave Israel an expiation declaration to Israel that we cannot coexist with you in your territory. So what they're doing is they're making an offer to Israel for Israel to solve the problem. And many Muslims throughout the world supported Hamas in that declaration. And in the declaration of expiation, what they're telling Israel is we cannot live within your borders and get along with you. So what I feel that Israel needs to declare right now is their acceptance of that declaration and letting the world know that they've accepted that declaration would be the action of renaming the Gaza Strip immediately to the Philistine Strip. And this would be in memory of the nation that the Israeli people shared the land with a little over 3,000 years ago, and then for the next 500 years until the Babylonians came along and destroyed the Philistine cities. Declaration that they're being offered is all of the land that Israel now owns needs to belong only to Israel. There needs to be no Muslims or Arabs in the land that cannot live there peaceably. Israel now has a responsibility to create a territory that will allow the Arab and Muslim people to be moved to their own nation. And my recommendation is that they work with Egypt and let Egypt donate the land. And the reason that Egypt should be willing to donate the land is that what Israel is going to do, instead of rebuilding the areas that were destroyed at this time, they're going to put all their efforts into digging 2 canals that will make an island in what I call the Red Sea Triangle, so that 2 more channels will be dug from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. And by doing that, the Egyptians will have a significant amount of more money coming in to supplement what the Suez Canal is now giving them. And the other channel will be between the new nation and Israel. And the square foot area of the new island nation will be approximately double what the United Nations has recommended that the Arabs be granted in 1948 when England gave the land to Israel. That means that this new nation, which will be Palestine, will be created, and it will be an island country between Egypt and Israel, in the land where Moses and his followers wandered for 40 years in the wilderness. But the nation will be created by Israel and the world community that's willing to add to the ability of the new nation to have a built out nation that is completely finished and ready for the Arab country to now form whatever government they want and start being a responsible member of the world community. Now, in my other videos, I've made a big issue about 2 different details. One detail is the equality of women in a country, and the other one is a free society over a dictatorship or a slave society. And as I explain those in my next videos, we will cover those parts. But for this time, right now, what will happen is the efforts, as soon as the war is over, and the war will be over when Hamas stops shooting at the soldiers of Israel. When Israel has no one fighting against them anymore, they are to immediately put their efforts in, starting to dig the canals and create the country that will be for the Islamic people to be able to have their own nation, totally separate outside the land of Israel. Israel now will own everything on the West Bank and the Philistine Strip, and also the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount will be able to have an opportunity for the Arabs or the Islamic people to work with the people of Israel to move the Dome of the Rock over to the new land. If they want to name the new land Jerusalem, the land of the Palestinians, the Palestinian country can name the city where the Dome of the Rock is placed, and they can call it Jerusalem, they can call it Mohammed, they can name it anything they want to. That will be up to the people of the new country. And this country then will be populated by the people that presently live in Israel. Israel will use the same system that the United States of America has when they condemn people's property for public use. If America wants to put a road in and your house is sitting in the middle of where that road's going to go, they move you out. But that same system will be used to move every Arab and every Islamic person that feels he wants to be in his own country and his own nation instead of living in the territory of Israel, they will be relocated to the new country island. And after that time, it will be up to them to create the kind of country they need without any influence whatsoever from Israel, because Israel will be so totally separated from them. And then, the way that I see the world, the only problem Israel will have now is whether or not Lebanon wants to control the people within their territory so that they are not using it as an offensive staging ground to damage Israel. If they continue to do that, it's Israel's responsibility to declare war on Lebanon, to take the territory of Lebanon and make it part of the land of Israel. And as being the part of the land of Israel, they can make that section of the area for agriculture, so that if anyone is now in Lebanon abusing their responsibility by not controlling people that are setting off rockets into the land of Israel, then Israel will only have farmland that has to be repaired. But Israel will add the territory to their country and restrict or diminish the territory of the Lebanon country. If Lebanon cannot control the people within their land, they don't deserve to have the land. It's everyone's responsibility within their territory not to allow people to use that as a staging point to attack another country. The world has gotten small enough where the land boundaries are pretty well set and everyone knows them in the world. And we don't need to have people declaring war on other countries just so they can steal the land. Those are days that have long gone by. In the past, we've had many areas of open land that is available for people to conquer and take, but those days are behind us. From this day forward, the land belongs to the people that own it, and they should be responsible to make sure none of the people that are on their land is causing a problem with the neighbors. The neighbor countries are their own independent territories and should not be interfered with by any nation on the planet affecting another nation. All of the territories are pretty well marked now. They should not be enlarged or reduced because of conflict. It's time for us to start getting along with each other, because we are about to move out off of this planet into other areas of the universe. And we don't need to have people still fighting here on the earth while that's going on. It's time to put an end to all wars and all conflicts. And this is the responsibility of the United Nations to adopt any regulations absolutely necessary that will prevent one nation attacking another nation for any reason whatsoever. So what we want to do now is to have Israel concentrate for the next few years on creating this island nation. And the way that it will be done is they're going to dig the canals out while it is just dry land. It will be a little bit of work, but not nearly as much work as they've already had to incur in taking control back of what will be known now as the Philistine Strip. The Philistine Strip will be an area that will be inside and under the control of the Israelites, and it's only called the Philistine Strip as a remembrance to the nation that did get along with Israel for 500 years. And this was a good 1,000 years before Muhammad was even born. So what we need to know now is that the Philistines are on one side and the Palestinians are out in an island nation, and Israel should now finally, since 1948, be at peace with their neighbors. Most of the neighbors have already made inferences that they're willing to get along and trade with Israel. And all we are doing is getting back to what the Philistines had for 8,000 years before the volcano on Thera destroyed their community. And most of the people only know the Philistines from the time they were put up on Egyptian land next to where Israel moved into in the hill country shortly thereafter. But the two nations, historically, as far as the Bible is concerned, did not get along all of the time, but they did last together for 500 years. So you can't get along for 500 years unless there's some agreement between the neighbors. And what we want to do is have another 500 years of total peace on the earth as we start investigating other places in the universe. It is our duty to get out there to bring back things that will benefit people here on the earth as well. Island nation that's going to be created will be done by digging the canals while no water is in the land. Once the canals are dug all the way to the point where they're going to be opened up into the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, before that happens, all of the channels will be dug and lined with the Taylor tire walls. The Taylor tire walls is another invention of mine. It's an inexpensive and quick way of building retaining walls that will line the new canal areas so that erosion will not fill up the area that's being dug. And as Israel digs this land and excavates it at a depth necessary for the ships to travel from the Red Sea through the two canals without limits. In other words, it will be as deep as the Red Sea needs to be. By rough guesstimation, that means the canals are probably going to be approximately 100-foot deep. That may have to be deeper. It's up for people that know about shipping and how much area the ships have to get through without running aground. We'll give tourist ships that need to be anchored for a few days while the people visit the country of Egypt. And Egypt will quadruple the amount of travelers that come to Egypt to see pyramids of Egypt and the Egyptian building that's gone on for several thousand years that have been preserved on the walls and the ruins of Egypt. So Egypt will basically let Israel improve the land until the Palestinians are moved on it, and the Palestinians have created their own government. Now I have the Taylor tire walls. on the internet. I've had it on for many years. The slightest bit of engineering, these walls can be built in a manner that is quick enough and inexpensive enough that will allow the nation that once it's put there will not erode from the canals or from the ocean or the tide changes. None of that will affect it. The Taylor tire walls will be on both sides of the banks on either place so that the earth will not move from the land into the water. And the Taylor tire wall will guarantee that doesn't happen. And the Taylor tire walls will be all in place before the water is opened up to the canals. At the very end of the project, the 3 canals will be opened up at the very 2 of them on from the Red Sea, one close to Israel and one close to where the Suez Canal goes now. The ones I show on the map are only a rough sketch to show an indication of what's going to be done. When the engineering is complete and everyone is on board for having the kind of improvements they need to make their nation flourish, and it would be an improvement that will be well worth more to Egypt than the money they're giving up for donating the land to the new Arab country. So Egypt will gain, Israel will gain, and the Palestinians will now have their own country, and this should alleviate the dissension that's been going on in the Middle East since 1948. It's time to put an end to it. It's time for Israel to accept the declaration made by Hamas on November the 7th, 2023 will go down in history as the date that Israel was challenged to take all of the land within their territory as their own land under total Israeli control without any outside interference whatsoever. And from that time forward, we should move on so that all nations can prosper, trade with each other, get along with each other, and have nations that are friendly where people can visit from one to the other without having to worry about people trying to get even or destroy. Israel should have the opportunity to end the war because no more Hamas people will be shooting at them, and they can concentrate on working out the deal with Egypt so they can start identifying where the canals are going to go, how deep they're going to be dug, and Israel will start creating this new island nation so that the citizens that are in the land of Israel right now can be relocated to their own new nation. And then there will be no more tension between Israel and the Arabs or Muslims. That being said, this is going to be the end of Fruit of Passion number 9. And last Fruit of Passion video will be Fruit of Passion number 10. I want to ask each of you if you will share this with your friends. If there's anything I'm saying you agree with, please tell other people. I still would like to have more people watching my videos and understanding what I'm trying to add to the world community by doing these videos. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you watching my videos and understanding what I'm trying to present. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. So this will be the end of Fruit of Passion number 9. Goodbye.